And a Ugandan court is right now sentencing 8 men convicted Thursday for their role in the 2010 Uganda World Cup bombings. 13 suspects appeared before the court. 8 were convicted, 7 of those on terror charges. The prosecution is arguing its case for the maximum sentencing. It was a marathon ruling for Judge Afonso Owinidolo. He took 7 hours Thursday to read his judgment without taking a break. Ugandan Issa Luyima was named the mastermind of the twin blasts in Kampala 6 years ago. It's believed he recruited the other members and secured a safe house for them in the Ugandan capital. It is the first major trial of Al Shabaab members outside Somalia. Now let's return to the day's top story, that key sentencing in Uganda. 8 men are being sentenced for the 2010 Kampala bombings. It is the first major Al Shabaab trial outside Somalia, and it's taken 6 years to come to an end. Let's bring you some perspective on that story now. I'm joined live here in our Nairobi studios by Mr. Simuyi Warunga. He is the director of the African Center of Security Studies. Mr. Murunga, welcome to Africa Live.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
Do you consider the verdict a victory against terrorism in East Africa?
It's not really a victory, but I think it's a good base from which all other countries are going to base their convictions. And I think it's going to be a case for study for legal scholars and legal practitioners to see why it has taken 6 years for one court in Africa to sentence suspects on terror-related activities.
Why has it taken it so long to get to this point?
Terrorism is a very difficult crime for you to pinpoint and have what you need to take it to court and have no doubts about what you have. So I think Uganda has played a major role to get to the point where they can convict. You realize in this country we've been having these issues for a very long time.
Indeed.
But we've never convicted a single person. Because for you to have the threshold of evidence to convince the court that actually this is a suspect and he needs to be convicted or she needs to be convicted, it takes a very long time.
In that Kenyan context, then, what are the specificities of the challenges when it comes to taking, well, at least getting closer to trial in the case of Westgate, for instance, or the Garissa attacks?
I think our biggest problem in this country is the demography. Most of the people we deal with as suspects in terror-related activities, most of them belong to us. And it becomes very difficult for you to get evidence locally for you to be able to convict a person to be able to be sentenced in court. Uganda is a bit different. Most of them, you realize, although they're Ugandans, we still have foreigners. So it makes it easy for the police and the investigators to have evidence to take them to court and be able to convict them. Our biggest problem, I think, is the wheels of justice in this country are very low. 2, our demographies, our socialization is so bad that we don't have people willing to testify to convict people in court. And I think number 3, we've taken it for easy for too long as a country until it is started being seen like we are not serious to convict terror suspects. So that is the difference between what happens in Kenya and what is happening in other countries. But hopefully with this one in Uganda, now people can start looking at one incident, one case, and asking questions. Why in Kenya we are not convicting anybody?
Indeed. We'll have to leave it there, but
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Murunga, for
Thank
that analysis of that situation, of course, in Uganda and the lessons that can be learned for other countries.